Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a foundation review for you guys, hence the bare face, hence my family members making an appearance in today's video. So I've had this foundation for probably about a month now, probably over about a month, and it just keeps sitting here and I keep meaning to film the video. So today I'm like, why not? It's rainy out, it's storming, so hopefully you guys can't like hear anything. It's just kind of like a blah day, so why not, you know, throw foundation on and see how it wears throughout the day. So the foundation that I'm going to be reviewing, you guys already know because of the title, I don't know why I do this, but the CYO Lifeproof Long Lasting Foundation. They've been sitting here. I want to give them a go. So if you guys want to see how the CYO Lifeproof Long Lasting Foundation wears throughout the day, then just keep on watching and let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so I already prepped my skin off camera. I'll link everything that I use down below. All right, so I first want to go ahead and read the claims for you guys before we go ahead and apply this foundation. So you can find this on Walgreens' website. Walgreens is. But so that's what I am on right now. So I'm just going to go through, read some of the claims and tell you a little bit about the foundation. There are 15 shades, so not terrible, not the best, like where foundations are like right now in today's world. I got these shades 104 and I got this shade, I think 103, right? Yeah, I got 103 and 104. I feel like, honestly, 103 would be better just because I feel like this looks a little bit lighter even though it's 104. I don't know. I feel like this one may be a little bit better, but we'll see. Maybe we need to mix them. It's creamy, lightweight formula that really goes the distance. Smudge and transfer free. So I really get excited when foundations claim that they're transfer resistant because I cannot stand when my foundation transfers. Whether I'm like hugging somebody, moving my hair out of my way, and I get like, you know, a smudge where the product came off. So I hate that. So it's smudge and transfer free. This formula will leave skin looking fresh and flawless around the clock without the cakey feeling. 15 medium coverage, so it's medium coverage. 15 medium coverage shades are available, buildable and comfortable to wear. Virtually everyone can get in on the action. Dot on cheeks, nose, chin, etc. Blend using sponge, fingers, or brush. It does have 4.5 stars on the website. So it is on sale right now for $5.25. It's originally $7. When I bought this, I paid the $7, but honestly, you guys right now can get it for $5.25 off of Walgreens, and it looks like some of these shades are in stock. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do, since my skin is already prepped, I'm going in with my e.l.f. This is the Poreless Putty Primer, and this is, if you guys don't know, this is very comparable to the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer that everybody raves about. So as far as the component goes, these are plastic bottles, so they're not, you know, bougie glass frosted bottles. They're just plastic right here. They are clear so you can see the product in there, which I do like. Has a matte type of cap on the bottle, and it does have a pump, which I like. Let's go ahead, let's give it a go. So I'm prepped, I'm primed. I'm gonna go in, let's start with sponge, and then we'll try brush, and then I'll see what I like. And we're gonna see if it's buildable as well. And your girl right now needs some coverage. Super liquidy, it's a little bit thick, but it still runs, as you can see here. So we have 104 here, and then we have 103 here. Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna go in with 103. Okay, so 103. I'm going to pump it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to start with the sponge, and I'm going to do the sponge on this side. I want to see how it applies on this side with my breakouts with the brush. So I'm going to take my e.l.f. sponge here, I'm going to dip in, and let's see, I need a thing that's closer here. The scent's not bad. It's very faint. Honestly, there's barely a scent. I really can't smell anything. It's not like perfumey like some of these other foundations that go pretty heavy into like the fragrance. It's not like that at all. So fragrance-wise, not bad. Shade isn't bad either. Okay. So this is the 103 that I'm using if you guys have similar skin tone to me. So I'm on 103. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. I always bring my foundation down. You know what? It does blend out super easily. It doesn't like dry down and set where you have to work pretty quickly with it. I mean, if you get it on there and start going, it's pretty pretty easy to work with there. Come up here. I will tell you, it sits on the skin beautifully. Okay. So obviously it's not super mattifying. I mean, as of yet, we'll see if it like sets a little bit, but it's like a powder finish. It doesn't say that it does. So it is a little bit more of like a natural satin finish. God, that's actually pretty. That's not bad. I did have a breakout here, so I'm gonna go back and see if I can build that up. Look at that. So this is obviously no foundation, but this is my bad side. And then we have the foundation here. Okay, I had to like take those clips out because like they were bothering me. So I just pulled my hair back. Let's see if we can build this. Or is it going to become a cakey mess? Remember, it said it's a non-cakey. That was in their claim. Okay, we got a little bit more coverage. I wouldn't say this is like a super, super full coverage. Like honestly, my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop, I feel like this is more of like a higher coverage foundation. But honestly, like if I didn't have this one or like this one, I mean, unless the brush does better, we'll see. But this does build up very nicely, I will say. For the brush, I'm going to be using, this is my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. It's just a round type of like kabuki brush here. I like it and it's inexpensive because it's e.l.f. So I'm going to take the product directly onto my brush. And this, honestly, you guys, that used that full pump that I use. So I don't know if it's just because the sponge soaked up a lot of the product, but we'll see. So I put another pump on this hand, so I have it on my brush and a little bit more. So let's see how this applies. We may get fuller coverage with the brush because that's just usually the case. Oh my God, it's so nice on the skin. The finish, I really like the finish. And what I like to do is I rarely use a brush for foundation, and if I do, because of like the coverage factor, like if this gives me really, really good coverage, I'll go in over with a sponge just to smooth it out, just because sometimes, even with this brush, I just feel like there's like lines and just like unevenness, so I like to go in and just smooth it all out with the sponge. I'm gonna go ahead and do my forehead. This guy is a scab. He probably will not get covered. Okay, so this is one layer of the foundation with the brush, and I'm not sure if I notice a difference as far as the coverage goes. What I'm gonna do, I don't know. I feel like I like the sponge side better, but I don't know if I'm being biased just because I don't have like any breakouts on this side of the face, so it just looks like a little bit more flawless than this side. Let me take a little bit more and build up. I'm gonna go in with the sponge again, and I'm gonna take a half a pump, and I'm gonna go over like the breakouts and see how that does, and just all over. Just because, like I said, I like to do that. I just feel like it smooths the foundation out when you're using a brush, so. Okay guys, so this is the foundation. So this is the sponge side. And then over here is the brush side. And you guys can really see a lot of my texture. But once I go ahead and put my powder like blushes on in that, I'm hoping that helps, you know, kind of camouflage that texture a little bit. The coverage isn't bad. Like I said, I wouldn't call this a heavy, full-on, high coverage foundation. But honestly though, like on this side, without any like heavy breakouts, it looks really nice. So what I'm gonna do, let me go ahead, I'm gonna finish off my makeup. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm not like doing too much today. So I will tell you guys, I will have to set this. It's definitely tacky. So it doesn't set down to like, you know, a matte or powder finish. It definitely, can you guys hear the rain? It's so crappy out today. It's like so miserable. And I was like, why not film? Like I said, I am going to have to set it. I'll give it about 5 minutes or so to see if it sets anymore, but it's definitely tacky. So I will powder where I'm going to go ahead and put my bronzer and my blush. So I'll let you guys know how everything blends out, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay guys, so I have my full face of makeup on. I was going to keep it pretty simple. Like this didn't take me long, but I really wasn't going to put lashes on, then I just got like carried away, and you know, one thing kind of led to another. On the rest of my face, I do have the Flower, this is the Light Illusion full coverage concealer from Flower Beauty. I have this under my eyes. I have a mixture of the two. That's why I'm carrying two of them. I did have to set the foundation, and where I didn't set, it's still tacky. But I did set my face with my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte finishing powder. I have my Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter for my highlights. On my eyes, I use the Milani Most Love Mattes palette. I've really been liking this ever since I used it in the Milani video. If you guys don't know, this is what the shades look like, so really pretty. So I have this on my eyes. My lashes are the Ardell Wispies. They are the 700s, if you guys are wondering about that. For my blush, I have the Milani. This is the one in Coralina. I mentioned these in my recent video as well. My bronzer, I use my Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 200. For my lips, I do have a lip combo that I mentioned in my last video, which I'll link right here if you guys haven't seen that yet. It's a video on what's in my everyday makeup bag. But for my lips, I have the Rimmel London Lip Liner. This is in number 4. This is Wild Clover. I love this. I mentioned it in my last video. And on top of that, I have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and this is in the shade Stockholm. So let's go ahead and talk about the foundation. So I do have freshly washed hair. That's why it's like a little bit more dry looking. Comment down below if you guys hate like when you first wash your hair. I'm curious. Like I like 2 to like 4 day old hair, if you know what I mean. If you're one who doesn't, you know, wash your hair every day, but I did just wash my hair this morning and styled it, so I have so many like little flyaways and frizzies and things like that. And I will tell you, it just sticks a lot to this foundation just because it didn't set down. So just keep, you know, that in mind. So honestly, when it comes to putting products on top of this foundation, beautiful, like no issues, everything blended wonderfully, the highlight looks good. You know, it's definitely a little bit more on the dewy side, and just because I am so used to like a matte foundation where there's not a lot of shine, and you know, just because I do texture, and I actually prefer like a matte foundation. But like I stated in this beginning of this video, I am trying to get into more natural dewy finishes of like foundations, just because it's like the summer months and I don't want to look so like matte and heavy all the time. So just to mention that. Okay, so this is the foundation up close. This was the brush side just because of my breakouts that I have. So you can see that, see all my hair? Like I didn't use I forgot because I ran out of my smoothing cream. So I have so many more flyaways than I usually have, and I was so mad because I knew this was going to happen. So if you guys give yourself a blowout, make sure you use some type of like smoothing serum or balm in your hair. Just a heads up, like you wouldn't get all of this all these little hairs, but like, you know, after a few days they will kind of go down. I do have a breakout here, which it did cover like the redness around it, but obviously you can't really cover up like like a bump under the skin, so it's not terrible. But this is the sponge side where I don't have like obviously a lot to cover, just my, you know, normal texture. Right now it's about 12:19. Let's call it check-in time at just 12 o'clock, just because that's pretty much like when I had the actual foundation on. Yeah, I will go ahead and I'll see you guys in a few hours. It is 4:22. Can you see that? I gotta change this background. So it's about 4:22, 4:23, so let's just say 4:30. We put this on at about noon, so it's been about 4.5 hours, and I want to show you the current situation. It's definitely cloudy. It's been raining off and on, so I'm trying to get like the best natural lighting that I can, so I'm in front of my big bay window. So this is what the foundation looks like. That's my breakout right there. So overall thoughts, it's not bad. So I've definitely had like worse foundations for sure. I do feel like I got a little bit more oily, like my nose, like right now, if you touch that, like that's just, you know, that's why I always try to prime heavily in that T-zone. Honestly though, the coverage stayed pretty much the same. I don't think I lost any coverage. So that looks good. And it is transfer resistant. Like I've been pushing my hair back and everything, and it's still, like I said, that's my breakout. I feel like I may have lost a little bit of coverage on my breakout just from me pushing my hair back and whatnot, but it looks like the foundation stayed put. So I don't see too much of transfer of that, so that's good. My blush and my bronzer are still on. My concealer still looks not bad, like, you know, where it mixes with that, but I will say I did get a little bit more dewier throughout the day, so it's definitely, like I said, we already discussed, this is definitely a more natural satin finish. So if you don't like that, don't even try this foundation. I would say it's a little bit, you know, cakey and separating in my nose area. That's always a common, like that's where my foundation always tends to break up, is always in that nostril area. So yeah, and I'm not sure if this is like a new breakout or not, so I have to keep a lookout for that too, if this causes, you know, any additional breakouts, because if it does, then, you know, this is like a no-go. So yeah, I like it so far. It's not, I wouldn't say like my favorite foundation. I'm gonna see how it works throughout the day, but these are my thoughts so far, and this is what it's looking like. And I'll check in with you guys in a couple hours. Okay guys, so I am back with my final check-in. I actually had to come into the studio. It's been rainy all day, and usually it's still light out about now, but it is 8:38 and it's like super dark outside. I think another storm's about to whirl in, so I'm in front of the studio lights for my final check-in. So this is the situation. Honestly, you guys, this just didn't cut it for me today. It's been on since what, 12? So it's been what, like about 8.5 hours? And like, I mean, it might look not bad on camera. The only, I mean, not only thing, but here, okay, so let's just back up. Let me start with the things that I don't like. Number one, I don't like how dewy it is. I didn't touch it up throughout the entire day. I didn't blot. I didn't, you know, powder throughout the day or anything like that. So keep that in mind. So that's the first thing. I just feel like everywhere I look on my face, it doesn't even look dewy. It looks like oily to me. I don't know. I like it right here. My nose is super oily. Like when I go like this and like touch this, it's just like, it's just disgusting. I just don't like it. Another thing, I feel like this broke me out more. Like this breakout was not there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's one here and it wasn't there, and then I have one here. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's two new blemishes. This one was there, it just got worse throughout the day. So I'm not sure. I feel like that's definitely the foundation. Those weren't there this morning. Forehead doesn't look terrible up there. There's not too much on, but like I do still have a breakout there that kind of seep through. A little bit of texture there, and that's like my massive breakout there. And this just always, like every time I do these videos, it just makes me go back to my more like mattifying or like powder finish foundations. Because as much as I want to have like, you know, a dewy, glowy finish, my skin just doesn't do well with it. It just needs more mattifying to hide and camouflage the texture. So, and this is another reason why, you know, it's like I want it so bad, but I always regret trying like a more natural finish foundation. The only one that I really like is the Wet n Wild, the Cushion Foundation, and the L'Oreal True Match. Those are like my more everyday foundations that aren't really like mattifying, but for some reason they work well for my skin. So yeah, even when I powder, it just does not look good, you guys. It just does not look good on my skin. Yeah, so you guys, I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this foundation review. Give it a thumbs up if you guys like these, and leave any suggestions down below if you have any. And yeah, let me know what your favorite foundations are, especially if you have similar skin to me. I'd love to go ahead and try them out. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.